As we grow older, every heartbeat becomes more precious, every sunrise more meaningful, and every breath a reminder of how far we've come. But somewhere between the doctor's appointments, prescriptions, and endless medical tests, we begin to lose sight of what truly matters living. You see, after the age of 70, health is no longer just about surviving, it's about thriving with dignity, peace, and purpose. Too often, we are told to take every test, every scan, every procedure, without asking why. But what if some of those tests don't add years to your life, only fear to your days? What if you our time, your comfort, your energy are worth protecting more than another lab report? This is not about neglecting your health. It's about reclaiming your wisdom. It's about choosing quality over quantity, joy over anxiety, and meaning over medical routine. Because your body has carried you through a lifetime of love, laughter, and loss, it deserves compassion, not exhaustion. So today, let's talk about the 5 medical tests to question after 70, not to defy medicine, but to honor life. Remember, every decision you make about your health should serve one purpose: to let you live fully, not fearful and debarnally. As we age, life begins to whisper lessons we were once too busy to hear. The ticking clock no longer feels like a threat, it becomes a melody, reminding us that time is precious and meant to be lived, not just managed. But somewhere along the way, especially after 70, many people find themselves trapped in an endless cycle of medical visits, tests, and procedures. Every ache, every gray hair, every heartbeat becomes a new reason for a scan or a blood draw. And yet, when the results come back, often nothing changes except the level of worry that now shadows our peace. It's time to pause and be and ask a brave question: is this truly living or merely existing under the weight of medical caution? Meaningful living is not about ignoring your health. It's about defining what health truly means to you at this stage of life. Health is not just a set of numbers on a chart or the absence of disease. It's the freedom to wake up without fear, to share a laugh with your grandchildren, to walk through your garden and feel the sun warm your skin. It's the ability to find joy in the simple everyday miracles that make life worth living. When we chase medical perfection, we often sacrifice emotional peace. Endless tests can fill our days with anxiety and strip away the serenity that should define our later years. After 70, your priorities shift. The body may not be as strong as it once was, but the heart becomes wiser. It understands that not every test is necessary, every diagnosis demands action, and not every concern requires intervention. Medicine is a gift, but it should serve life, not control it. When tests become more frequent than laughter, when waiting rooms replace living rooms, and when prescriptions outnumber shared meals, something vital is lost: the spirit of being truly alive. Doctors, with all their training and compassion, often operate within a system that values data and results. But you have the right to ask, will this test truly improve my life? Sometimes, the honest answer is no. Some tests can lead to unnecessary treatments, invasive and VE procedures, and a cascade of medicalization that diminishes the quality of your remaining years. For example, certain screenings for slow-growing cancers may detect something that would never have harmed you, but the treatments might. So, while the intention is to protect life, the outcome can steal its sweetness. Prioritizing meaningful living means stepping back from the noise and listening to your own body and soul. It means choosing to spend your energy on what fills you up: time with loved ones, laughter, learning, and rest, instead of constant medical worry. It's about trusting at your worth and wellness are not defined by test results, but by the moments that make you feel whole. This approach requires courage, especially in a culture that equates more medical care with better care. But wisdom tells us that more isn't always better, sometimes it's simply more. Choosing fewer and TRR tests is not giving up it's letting go of fear. It's saying, I choose peace. I choose to live the time I have with grace, not with constant concern. It's understanding that medical science is a tool, not a master, and that life after 70 is sacred, deserving of gentleness and respect. You mig ejibore ht wonder, what if I miss something serious? That question comes from love, the love of life, and those who share it with you. But meaningful living means accepting that perfection is not the goal, presence is. You can still stay vigilant about your health without becoming consumed by it. Regular check and ins, open conversations with your doctor, and self-awareness are enough to stay safe, while keeping your emotional well-being intact. When you prioritize meaningful living, you redefine success. Success is no longer about perfect lab results, it's about feeling peace when you wake up, smiling for no reason, forgiving yourself for your past, and cherishing the day in front of you. It's about using your time to create memories instead of collecting medical files. It's realizing that your story is not measured in medical reports, but in the love you give, the kindness you share, and the wisdom you pass on. Life after 70 should not be a battle to outlive the inevitable. It should be a celebration of what has been earned, the right to rest, to breathe, to savor, and to be. When you choose to live meaningfully rather than medically, you reclaim your autonomy. You remind yourself that you are more than a patient, you are a person, a whole, beautiful being whose value cannot be measured by tests or diagnoses. So, as you sit with your next decision about another scan, another test, or another procedure, pause for a moment. Place your hand over your heart and ask yourself, will is bring me peace? Will it add joy or only worry? The answers may surprise you, because sometimes the most healing thing you can do is not to seek more medicine, but to choose more life. When you sit in a doctor's office and hear the words, "We should run some tests," your heart often skips a beat. A flood of worry rushes in. What if something's wrong? What if it's serious? But before fear takes over, there's one simple, powerful question that can change everything. Why? Why is this test necessary? Why now? Why this specific test instead of another? And most importantly, why will the result matter for my life, not just for my chart? Too often, people agree to medical tests out of trust, habit, or fear of missing something. The white coat, the medical jargon, and the sense of urgency can make it feel wrong to question authority. But asking why is not defiance, it is wisdom. It's your right and your responsibility to understand what's being done to your body, your time, and your peace of mind. Medicine should be a partnership, not a command. When you ask why, you take your seat at the table as an equal, not a bystander. Tests are not harmless just because they are common. Every test comes W&D or with consequences, some seen, others hidden. A blood test may lead to another test. A scan may reveal something uncertain, and before you know it, you are caught in a web of follow-ups, biopsies, and anxiety. Sometimes these discoveries save lives, but sometimes they uncover problems that never would have harmed you, yet the treatments for them can cause suffering far greater than the disease itself. When you ask why, you give yourself a chance to see both sides, the possible benefit and the potential burden. Why is not a word of resistance. It's a word of clarity. It opens a door to conversation instead of compliance. You might say, "Can you help me understand what you hope to learn from this test? Or if the results are positive, what will we do differently?" These questions bring light to what fear often hides. They remind your doctor that you are not just a patient but a person who deserves to know what every choice means. Clarity kills fear. Fear grows in the dark, when you are unsure, when you feel rushed or unheard. But when you understand the purpose behind a test, the options that follow, and the likely outcomes, fear begins to lose its power. Many doctors pre- and DRC8 patients who engage because it makes care more meaningful. It turns the clinical routine into a human conversation. There's also another side, the emotional toll of unnecessary testing. Waiting for results can be agonizing. A borderline result can keep you awake at night. And a false positive NTRT-IV can send you through treatments that never needed to happen. These experiences drain not only your energy, but your spirit. So when you ask why, you are not only protecting your body, you are guarding your peace. This question also helps align your medical care with your personal values. After NT-bar Air 70, many people care more about how they live than how long. You might decide that aggressive treatment or invasive procedures don't align with your definition of quality life. If a test leads only to interventions that don't match your goals, it may not serve you. Asking why helps you see WHBRA ether a test supports the life you want, one filled with comfort, presence, and dignity, or simply adds more worry and medical noise. Sometimes your doctor may hesitate or admit that a test is more routine than necessary. That's not disrespect, it's honesty. Medicine is an evolving science, not an exact one. When you hear uncertainty, it's okay to ask for time to think, to discuss with family, or to seek another opinion. Taking time is not neglect, it's courage. It's saying, my choices matter too much to be rushed. Always remember, you have the right to understand before you agree. Consent is not just a signature, it's comprehension. Each time you ask why, you are reminding everyone in that room that your care must be transparent, compassionate, and purposeful. In the end, seeking clarity instead of reacting from fear transforms the experience of aging. It shifts your focus from anxiety and TRTED to agency, from medical dependency to mindful choice. You realize that health is not just the absence of illness, it's the presence of peace. And peace comes when you know what's being done and why it matters. So next time a doctor suggests a test, breathe deeply and say gently, can you help MNBRE understand why this is needed? That one question can protect your body, your mind, and your heart. Because true healing doesn't begin with more procedures. It begins with understanding, with courage, and with the power of asking why. There comes a time in life when the mirror no longer reflects just a face, it tells a story. Every line, every scar, every smile is a chapter of your journey. By the time we reach 70 and beyond, life has already tested us in ways no doctor ever could. We've endured loss, celebrated love, raised families, and weathered storms. So when you reach this stage, health begins to take on a new meaning. It's no longer about chasing perfection, erasing wrinkles, or surviving every possible illness. It's about preserving the quality of the days you have left, not simply adding more days to the count. Too often, modern medicine measures success by how many prostate analyses are performed, how many tests are run, or how many medications are prescribed. But numbers don't always tell the truth about wellness. A person can have perfect test results and still feel empty, tired, or afraid. Another may live with illness yet glow with peace and gratitude. Health at Savant Arcent Y+ is not defined by what S on a chart, it's defined by how deeply you live, how much joy you still allow yourself to feel, and how gently you care for your body and soul. The older we get, the more precious time becomes. Every morning is a gift, every shared laugh a treasure. But too often, our later years are spent in waiting. Rooms instead of living rooms, under fluorescent lights instead of warm sunlight. Procedures, treatments, and hospital visits can quietly take over life. It's easy to believe that more medical care automatically means better care, but that's not always true. Sometimes the constant pursuit of more can steal the very moments that make life meaningful. Quality of life is not about how long we can prolong the inevitable, it's about how we fill the time that remains. It's being able to enjoy a meal without worry, to walk without fear, to watch your grandchildren to listen to music that stirs your soul. It's about comfort, connection, and contentment. When medicine becomes focused solely on extending life at any cost, it can unintentionally forget the person behind the patient. You deserve care that honors your humanity, not just your biology. At 70 and beyond, the body has its limits, and that's not failure. It's wisdom written into our design. It's nature's way of reminding us that slowing down is part of the rhythm of living. Yet many people spend these years feeling pressured to do more, fix more, test more, as if slowing down means giving you and DRP. But choosing quality over quantity is not surrender, it's strength. It's the strength to say, I value how I live more than how long I live. It's the courage to define your own version of wellness. Every medical procedure carries not just physical risks, but emotional costs too. Recovery takes me. Fear and uncertainty take energy. And at 70, that energy is sacred. It should be spent laughing, reminiscing, and finding peace, not constantly bracing for the next test result. You have earned the right to rest, to breathe, to choose gentleness over struggle. That doesn't mean turning away from care. Altogether, it means choosing care that aligns with your values. Maybe that means focusing on pain relief instead of invasive surgery. Maybe it's choosing physical therapy instead of another round of hospital stays. Maybe it's choosing to say yes to a walk with a friend instead of another DTRNA in a medical ward. These choices are not about denial. They are about living wisely, intentionally, and meaningfully. The truth is, medicine can extend life, but only you can give that life meaning. Doctors can heal the body, but only you can nurture the soul. When you begin to measure health not in procedures but in peace, not in years but in moments, you start to live differently. You start to smile more, worry less, and appreciate the beauty in small things: the sunrise, the sound of laughter, the softness of a hand holding yours. There is a kind of health that no test can measure: the heal and % of the spirit. It's the calm that comes from acceptance, the joy that comes from gratitude, and the strength that comes from love. That kind of health is what truly matters after 70. It doesn't come from a hospital, it comes from the heart. So, when faced with another recommendation, another test, or another procedure, use and ask yourself, will this improve my quality of life? Will it bring me comfort, ease, or joy? If the answer is no, you have every right to say, not now. Because at this stage of life, your time is your most valuable medicine. Choose to spend it on what heals you inside: connection, laughter, purpose, and peace. In the end, the real measure of health at 70 and beyond isn't how many procedures you've had, but how fully you've lived despite them. It's not about counting the years, it's about making the years count. And when you choose quality of life over the quantity of procedures, you choose something far greater than medicine can offer you: choose meaning. There comes a stage in life when we realize that true health is not measured by how many pills we take or how many tests we complete it, measured by how deeply we can still feel joy, love, and peace. After 70, the body begins to whisper instead of shout. It reminds us of all the miles it has carried us, all the burdens it has lifted, all the moments it has survived. It no longer needs to be fixed and tested endlessly, it needs to be honored. At 70 and beyond, health is not a race to stay young. It is the art of living well with the years you've earned. It is about quality of life, not the quantity of procedures. We live in a world that praises medical progress, and rightly so. Modern medicine has given us more time, more safety, and more miracles than any generation before you and BRNS. But somewhere along the way, we began to confuse living longer with living better. The truth is, a calendar filled with appointments is not a sign of vitality, it's often a symptom of fear. Fear of aging, fear of decline, fear of the unknown. Yet, what if we stopped fighting the clock and started cherishing the moments? What if we began to measure wellness not in numbers and charts, but in laughter shared, stories told, and sunrises witnessed? At 70, the focus should shift from prolonging life at all costs to protecting the richness of each day. You've already proven your strength through decades of challenges and triumphs. Your body, though slower, carries the wisdom of a lifetime. It doesn't need to be perfect, it needs to be comfortable. It doesn't need constant intervention, it needs kindness. Endless tests and procedures may promise reassurance, but they can also bring fatigue, anxiety, and a loss of freedom. Each hospital visit, each new prescription, can quietly steal hours that might have been spent with loved ones, walking in the garden, or simply resting in peace. Health at this age is not found in hospitals, it's found in harmony. It's about the ability to move without pain, to eat without worry, to sleep peacefully, and to wake up with gratitude. It's found in moments of connection, sharing tea with a friend, holding a grandchild's hand, feeling the breeze on your face. These experiences are what make life meaningful. No medical procedure can replace them. An NDR10D, no test result can define them. Of course, this does not mean rejecting medical care altogether. It means becoming wise enough to choose care that aligns with your values. It means asking, will this procedure give me more life or just more time? Will it bring me comfort or will it bring more strew and diargenjiggle? Sometimes the kindest choice is to do less, not more. To let the body rest instead of pushing it through another round of interventions. Medicine should support life, not consume it. There's a quiet dignity in accepting the natural rhythm of aging. The body changes, yes, but those changes are not failures. They are evidence of endurance, of love lived fully, of time well spent. Health at 70 is about embracing balance, taking enough care to stay well, but not so much that living becomes medicalized. It's about knowing when to say yes to a treatment that truly improves your comfort and when to say no to one that only adds fear or fatigue. When you focus on quality of life, you begin to see health differently. You start noticing how much better you feel after a good night's sleep than after a round of unnecessary tests. You start realizing that laughter is a far stronger antiarrhythmic than worry. You discover that peace is more healing than perfection, and you begin to live again, not just survive. The goal, after 70, is to wake up each morning and feel grateful to still have this day, to have the strength to move, to speak, to listen, to love. The beauty of life at this age is not in how long it continues, but in how gracefully it is lived. Every moment becomes sacred, every choice intentional. When you stop chasing longevity and start embracing presence, your days become richer, softer, more peaceful. So, let the doctors guide you, but let your heart decide what matters most. Choose the kind of health that fills you with calm, not concern. Choose the kind of care that gives you comfort, not chaos. And choose to live in a way that honors the time you have left, not by counting your days, but by making each one count. Because in the end, it won't be the number of procedures that define your life. It will be the memories you made, the love you shared, and the peace you carried within you. Health at 70 and beyond is not about how many years you can add to your life, it's about how much life you can add to your years. After 70, true health is no longer measured by the number of pills, tests, or procedures, but by the depth of peace, joy, and comfort you feel each day. The body has carried you through a lifetime, it deserves rest, not constant repair. Quality of life becomes far more valuable than the quantity of medical interventions. Endless PR and TR procedures may promise security, but they often steal the very moments that make life meaningful, time with loved ones, laughter, and serenity. At this stage, the goal should not be to simply add years, but to add life to the years you already have. Good health at 70 means waking up with gratitude and deartent, eating without worry, moving without fear, and sleeping with peace. It means focusing on connection, purpose, and calm rather than chasing medical perfection. Choose the care that truly enhances your comfort and joy, not the kind that fills your days with anxiety and appointments. Because the Greya Dendiar test medicine at this age is love, laughter, and inner peace. Life after 70 should not be about surviving through tests, it should be about living through moments. That is where true health and